Welcome to Know You Matter. This is real conversations for people who want to feel a little bit better without being given a to-do list.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm the restoration coach and I'm Lauren's mum.
And I'm Lauren. I'm the restoration strategist.
And we are ever so glad that you're here.
Do you think there'll ever be a point where I move and I don't go, oh, again?
No, I was literally thinking that almost, is that the start of our podcast without the intro bit? Is that, as Lauren moves her bonds. I'm sitting very
old.
still.
Yeah.
Mind I sit so
Started
still that by the
creaking.
time we then have to move and do stand up, that my knee goes, what?
Yeah.
So, anyway, hi.
Hello. Welcome back to Mum. You've been on holiday, and welcome back to me. I've been on holiday. So we've not recorded since both of us have been out of the country.
Well, in fact, when this drops next, when it drops, or who am I?
When our podcast drops. Hey guys,
when this goes live
my
on
podcast.
Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
This is Friday we're recording, so this is really fresh.
This was a late one.
Because you popped over to Spain, didn't you?
Popped over
to Spain for a few
She
days.
says that really chill, as though it wasn't my first abroad holiday in like 12 years. I did. I popped over to Murcia in Spain for a few days with a friend. It was just, do you know what? It was fucking magical. It was just amazing. And do you know the best bit before we find out about where you went? The best thing about this holiday, right, was that there was no part of me that didn't want to come home. So I said to Dave, my husband, obviously if you're new here, that I haven't had the holiday blues at all. Even though it is fucking freezing in the UK right now. Even though it was glorious to be there and have the freedom to not parent and the freedom to be myself, and I read books and I got sunshine and I ate good food and I spent really good time with a really close friend and like all of that stuff was amazing, and I'm just really glad to be home. And I just think that's wild. Like, there'll be people listening like, what? You've not got the holiday blues? And it's like, no, I don't.
Have you heard the saying, create a life that you don't want a holiday from?
Literally, that's what I feel like we've done. Like, I'm not like, there's no part of me that's like, I need to book my next one. And like, I do. I want to book one. I want to book a holiday now for me and my husband because we've still not had a honeymoon. Mm-hmm. And like, I'd love to do that. But that's because I want to spend time with him doing that, not because I want a holiday from my life. Mm-hmm. And like, actually, I was so excited to get home that I started working on the plane. Like, I wrote like 4 blogs while I was away. Like, it was great. But yeah, so
space for inspiration. Yes, I don't have the holiday blues.
You've just come back from.
Thoroughly loved being in Lindos.
There we go.
On the island of Rhodes. Yes, it is one of the Greek islands, and Laura's just asking. Oops, doesn't mean you have to know. Yeah, we've been on the island of Rhodes a few times in the past, and this time we chose Lindos.
That was our last family holiday.
Ixia was
Rhodes.
Was Rhodes. It? Yeah, it was. I know.
Oh my God, that was the first time I heard Mum drop the C-bomb.
I'm not sharing that story today. Not today.
Maybe another day. One day.
We'll get into that one day. Not that I spoke to Dad about that while we were on holiday, actually. We did have a bit of a giggle. But yes, so we went to Lindos and had chosen the most, what looked like the most beautiful hotel, very small. That's what I prefer. I like really small, intimate, friendly little hotels.
You dropped a carousel with some of your photos this morning.
It's beautiful. I haven't even shared, and I didn't, and I purposefully, I didn't share that I was going on holiday with many people. I didn't post a lot about it online.
No hot dog legs, happy Monday.
None of that, and I think for 2 reasons, and I do want to say this out loud. Sometimes I feel like I know how lucky I am and how privileged I am, and fortunate to be going away on a holiday. You know, we had a great holiday in January. We went to Norway and it was outstanding. And I, I chatted with your dad and we just needed a little bit of sunshine, and I knew I did. So we talked about let's go away. So we were looking at where to go and all of that. But also, I one of the biggest things about all the work that I've done is the fact that I know I'm quite a private person. I don't share everything with everybody. And this isn't...
And you did it for you.
I did it, yeah.
The holiday wasn't about proving anything.
No, nothing. It was about, right, what did we both need? I needed some sunshine. I just had this sense of wanting to kind of warm myself up, which sounds really fascinating. And
the warm your bone things.
Yeah.
The warm your bone things, because the UK warm your bone things is not the same thing
not as being abroad like that.
and warming your bones.
Well, no, because it was 24, 25 degrees each day. We were really fortunate with the weather. It was a little bit cloudy on a couple of the days. But bigger than that was the reconnection with your dad, because I feel like we've just been so busy, and then sadly, we know Dad lost his mum, your nana and stuff like that. And then when I think about, he was unwell and work, and I think
the
for
last
both
few
of
months
us, it has
felt
been
wild, actually.
So I think it was just a great opportunity. And it within a couple of days we were back laughing. It was, just even that time just to...
Yeah, and I turned up this morning to pick her up. To pick her up, and he made her breakfast. He made a shakshuka or whatever it's called.
Yeah, shakshuka. And that was from America, because he was in America just before we went away.
Let's not talk about his
We
privilege.
won't talk about that. So he'd made breakfast. We were giggling. I took a photograph of the QR code.
He even told me that he liked my dungarees.
He did.
Oh, didn't
He's
I
relaxed.
like dungarees? What? Who are you? Go to Lindos more often, Dad.
And I have to say, it was stunning. It was better than the hotel was just super. I've done some really pretty, been fortunate enough to do some pretty hotels, and like I say, little ones, Crete and Rethmanon. I love travelling. I honestly, this hotel, I'm going to tell people, it's called Caesar's Gardens, in Lindos.
If Caesar's Gardens would like to sponsor this podcast, you can just let us come and stay for a couple of days.
We'll come and record a podcast over at yours if you want. Yeah, we're excited about that one. But that, honestly, the setting, we were right in the hills, the rocky outlook of everything that is the Greek Highlands, just the real mix between the greenery, the trees, just looking up in this rocky hill that then just has one tree on the top of it, and the goats that were, wandering around and things like that. And it just...
Tell me about the goats.
Yeah, goats and all sorts. Honestly, it was brilliant. And we went into Lindos, but we learnt really quickly, because obviously we were staying not that far. It was probably a 10, 15-minute walk into Lindos, which was nothing to get down the bottom, which I nicknamed it Robin Hood's Bay, because it's got such a climb coming back out of it.
That means you have to climb back out. Oh.
Yeah. No, you don't. You just get the golf buggies. You literally. So I made friends with this guy.
Right, just like to paint in right now that I suggested that for Robin Hood's
Bay. I know.
For the summer, that we should create a business, and my dad would love this, right? Because he'd just be... I don't know why he doesn't do it. It'd make him so happy. Hire a couple of golf buggies, and we just shuttle people from the bottom to the top of Robin Hood's Bay. That's it. That's what we do during the summer. That's it. I honestly think it's the best business idea I've ever come up with.
Well, these
and
guys
if anybody
do it.
now does it, I'm going to prove that you've listened to this podcast and you owe me a penny per trip.
Well, I was talking to a guy, because it's such a good idea. I was talking to an elderly gentleman who was still doing this, and he was laughing when he said it to me, and he was like, "No, I enjoy it." He said, "It gets me out of the house." And then he
he was driving the golf buggy.
Genius. And one afternoon, I just got I got one on my own, because Dad wanted to go off and do another bit of a walk, and I was like, "No, too hot and too sweaty."
Video.
So one of the videos it didn't send, so I will share that again. Of me laughing all the way back up.
I was watching it but I had it on silent. I had no context, and I just laughed and then put the phone down. Didn't even think to ask what was going on. But I didn't know if you were in like one of those, where someone's on a bike and you're in the back.
Yeah, no, that's the golf buggy where I am, literally, because it goes so... This one went so fast, thrown around all over the place, holding on for dear life, laughing my head off.
She was.
But the guy, we just didn't go down very often in the daytime, because it was very busy, is the thing. I think at one point there was 24 coaches at the top of the bank, each of those bringing in people on trips and stuff like that.
I didn't even know Lindos was that like...
It's beautiful. It's and little, and it is very little. Right on the beach. Yeah, so there are some beautiful beaches, St. Paul's Bay, which is where I sent you some photographs and a couple of videos. I don't know if you saw those, but one of the beautiful things was the wedding was happening over the bay. So we were sat having... and
you asked if we could hear it.
I became an aficionado who had the best Virgin Mojitos the whole time I was there. But yeah, we were literally listening, and the sound of that Greek wedding, honestly, I can feel it was just... And I think we at one point we were the only people down there, apart from the guys that were working in the bar, and the bar stayed open until 7, and it was getting dark. And Yeah, just that's what a holiday is for me, is just to see things from a different perspective, to take a bit of time and to get a bit of space, to allow myself to get a bit bored.
How amazing for a holiday to be that and not to be just a relief from what you hate.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what a lot of people sort of live for their holidays, don't they? And
I
then
used to.
and what happens on those, and I remember this, is going abroad and then being poorly, because it's like the first time you let yourself drop. It's the first time you let it go. It's the first time you stop holding yourself so tightly, and then that first couple of days of your holiday, you feel like absolute crap because your body's like, "Ugh." It's just like letting it all out. So you get a cold, or you feel sniffly, or you just feel a bit unwell, or whatever. So how gorgeous to not have that.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that. I was tired, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I mean,
Yeah, oh no,
what a
poor
problem.
you.
Exactly. I'm not going to take that one. For me, that's all part of the journey. I was laughing because when we were in the
Yeah.
airport, Dad said something and I was like, I'm on holiday. And he was like, we haven't got there yet. And I was like,
As soon
was
as
like,
the alarm went off, I was
yeah,
on holiday.
literally
Thank you.
from
From
Wednesday
3 o'clock the night
afternoon.
before. Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon when I was like, oh, everything stops
Yeah,
now. I am
finished.
literally going to finish packing. What am I going to do? I also want to say this out loud. I need a challenge of going on holiday with just a cabin bag. Because
Did you check a bag?
we checked it. We did. We got 20 kilograms to check in. I only took 13 for a week. I know, don't.
Did
Who am
ya?
I? And I only took 13 when I went to Vietnam for 15 days. I'd have no idea how I managed this.
I don't know how you
And
managed
I
it.
didn't wear half the stuff that I took. Because actually, it's really shown me. I was quite fascinated. I've got a yellow.
I almost bought my
Um,
matching one.
And just some of the things that I'd wrote down and some of the stuff that I was like, what actually is it that I needed while I was on holiday? What didn't I have that would have been
Yeah,
more
because we
useful?
only took cabin bags.
Yeah.
We paid for the extra one, so I
Yeah.
had like a rucksack and bag, but...
So I loved my my shoes. So I bought some beautiful. They were goat leather. The ones that were the wraparound ones. There's a lady on Instagram called I think it's Anna Scarino who I am going to tag because I'm going to share she posted not long before I went on holiday 7 items that she was buying for holiday, and I chose 2 of them. One was a Zara shorts jumpsuit.
Yes.
Just a black one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was divine.
Perfect.
And these strappy leather sandals, which I wore on repeat. Between them and my Docs, that's what I wore. And my Doc sandals. And it was just, but yeah, it was... Honestly, I am already thinking I want to go back, but for next year, and to do it again in the October. Just that time, it was quieter. The heat wasn't quite so intense, but it was beautiful. Just really amazing to sit and reflect and read, and just take a bit of time with Dad, eat some blooming good food.
I love that.
And it was lovely, and we feel like we only did like this many of the restaurants, and we were kind of looking around, and like there's a whole lot. Me and Dad were laughing, going, we could actually come back and have a whole week and not touch the same restaurants and do a lot of. It is lovely. It is lovely. Found some great little places. Bought a beautiful silk scarf. I don't know if you saw it on the table this morning, the colours, but it's gorgeous. So, and didn't buy a lot else.
Yeah.
Just wanted to go and
Just enjoyed.
Anyway.
Well, lovely actually, because I did a post, I don't even know where it was now, but last week where I was talking about the power of like moving where you are. In fact, I might have gone out today.
It's the one this morning, which is about
one.
Yeah, it's this morning.
And the fact that changing your physical position, because I think people sort of, talk about like moving and that kind of thing, and they talk about it a lot like metaphorically, like change your mindset. And it's like, actually, physically changing where you are can reset your nervous system, because that tiny little movement. So I was thinking about the fact that actually for both of us going on holiday felt like a bit of a reset, and not like resetting from this horrible thing, but for me it was just like my shoulders went back a bit more, and I've come back with a bit taller and a bit more like, I'm ready for this to go on. And like I said, it's not that I needed my holiday. I wasn't desperate for a holiday, but it was bloody amazing. And it did reset. And like, it sounds like for you, that reconnection to yourself and just that rest and that real reconnection with Dad and all that kind of stuff, And one of the things I'd said was, it was actually one of the people in drama club who'd said, you know, it doesn't have to be a big position shift. Like you could just go from, so I work upstairs in an office in my house. And if I can feel myself in this spiral that's like, and I can feel my brain stuck, even stopping, closing my laptop, picking it up, walking downstairs, sitting at the kitchen table instead, the breakfast bar, like shifts where I am in my body. And like I don't have the deep understanding of the nervous system like you do, so you know I can't explain it all, but that tiny little movement. And it was something I wanted to talk to you about because I keep seeing this thing, and you shared it today about you know how people constantly say like, here's how to regulate your nervous system and like all of that kind of thing. And one of the other amazing people that is in drama club, she's called M Roberts, she was talking about how that idea of regulating your nervous system and always being calm actually comes from a really kind of dark place. And it's like, I think it's really important because that's not the way you approach it. And I, you know, and you shared that this morning, and it perfect like little segue into this conversation, because this idea of constantly needing to be regulated and constantly needing to be calm is actually a little bit gross, and it's not at all what you're saying when you're talking about the nervous system. And you've got like a freebie that you do, which is like 5 days, don't you, where people can start to understand the nervous system, but it's not like,
it's more that
here's how to regulate it.
It's understanding.
That's it.
What
you
how
it
that
a relationship
shows up.
actually.
Yeah, so it's about understanding this relationship with this system within you that is operating all of the time.
Yeah.
You know, constantly on the lookout for you know, cues of safety or cues of danger or cues of threat. Actually, you've just reminded me of a story, the threat one. Which I'll come back to in just a second. But yeah, that whole point is, the more that I understand it, the more I can act from it if I need to. And as and when I need to, but the more I can understand how come it's showing up, how come I've gone into fight and flight, how come I've, you know, I'm wanting to run away from this, how come I'm, you know, I really feeling a sense of danger right now, you know, how come I'm feeling this sense of connection and this love. And so just understanding what that feels like, you know, and the world within us. Your face has just said something. What has that just triggered?
Yeah, that's just like, you know, when you like chuck a coin in I don't know why I've got like a well, and it's like ding 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 plop. Like that's what just happened in my head.
Go
like
on.
It's like, so you said, you know, why have I been triggered to want to fight or flight? And obviously the things that I'm thinking about, so I'm thinking about like back when I was in burnout, and like I'd get an email and I'd be like, I just want to quit my job. And obviously
or when a manager or you know says, can you pop in? I just need to have a chat with you.
Can I have a word? And you're immediately like, I'm getting fired. This is it. I'm losing my job. I'm going to be homeless. And I was in that space where my nervous system was so triggered by everything. So it was like, it perceived everything as threat. And actually, it doesn't do that anymore, because now I'm like, I don't think that's really a threat, babe.
So this whole thing about when you begin to understand how you're responding, it gives you more space to be able to understand it. And it allows you to be able to tolerate some of these feelings long enough, or sensations long enough, because that's the thing. It's not just a feeling or an emotion. It's a real mix of what can happen. And that's that's interoception. So the more I get into understanding how these states show up for me, you know, and what is it that's really kind of creating it, the more I have a chance to be able to control it. That's when people say you can't control what happens outside, but you can control what's inside. And I never got that. I remember thinking there was a switch. Yeah. And in essence, in some ways there is, because
it also made me feel very much like, God.
Yeah, that's it. It's that bit that the more. So just to share the story, because I actually did share this with you.
Did you?
So we were on holiday, weren't we? And on that first day, so I wore a bikini. I love my bikini. It's a polka dot.
Oh, yes.
Pretty little frills and everything else. I absolutely love it.
The brown one?
Not dark one. It is dark. I can't remember if it's brown. What colour it is now? I think it might be black. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I was laid on a sunbed. So there was 2 layers to this outdoor space. One where the pool was, which was Baltic, not warmed by the sun at all, but really refreshing. And then the other layer had a jacuzzi, big jacuzzi like pool, and then there were sunbeds around, and there were actual four-poster bed type things, but really beautiful, and a whole load of greenery. There were pomegranate trees and like fruit growing everywhere. Honestly, the smells were divine. It was absolutely brilliant. So I'm laid on one of these beds in the sunshine thinking, yes! And
Totally
I have this
chill.
moment where I look up, and there are people beginning to kind of wander around, you know, and it was very laid back like that. And I heard, and this is the beauty of being able to separate yourself from it, I heard my head go, here are the beautiful people. And I was like, I literally, if you're watching this video, my brain went, what? And I'm like,
Huh?
it was almost like this part of me stopped and looked at myself and went, what? What did you, what? What? And I could hear.
What did you say?
And it was, and actually my body had tensed. And do you know what I did? I breathed in and I moved my position. And that's what I'd done. So I'd almost, I pulled myself in. And it's like, you know, and I
An
totally
automatic
understand
reaction
it. Yeah.
that meant that you tried to shrink yourself
Yeah.
without even realising that's what you're doing.
And even stand taller,
Suck
because
your stomach
in
in,
that,
your
it's like,
shoulders
yeah.
back,
And these,
make sure my double chin's not showing. I can see myself do the same
these
thing.
beautiful people, these lovely people
Yeah.
who were just having and yet, this is what was happening. So I needed to understand my internal world. Now, if you remember, not that long ago, it's a while ago now, isn't it? We were talking about our bodies and, you know, that whole kind of
body
dysmorphia, weren't
yeah.
we? And it really just took me a moment to realise that was a social threat. So in that social situation, I felt threatened because for all of the things that have happened to me in my life, I've always felt like what I look like meant I didn't fit in. And I know that's not true. I know it's not true. And that's, for me, that a part of the beauty of that is social media, because actually we see people of different heights and different sizes and, you know, different skin colours, all of these kind of things. And it's just...
Sorry.
Ilona May and Sarah Byrne, who... if we could get somebody, I would love to have. There's a chair over there, Sarah Byrne. It's got your name on. I absolutely adore you. I do genuinely, and I love. And it is this thing because I know that she loves Ilona May for that, and the fact that Ilona May, heart. Hang on a second, can I do it properly?
Ilona May. Wait, have to do it like the young people.
Oh no, I'm doing it like me. It's not that I'm not young, I don't care. But I think that's the thing, and it just really showed me. And what happened from that social threat and that moment was I was able to allow myself to relax and recognise that was an old trigger, and it's not and that's the genius of triggers. It's and having built now this space within me that tolerates discomfort, and also allows me to know when it would have been, because if somebody had said something to me and that had been a social threat, and commented, then I would have wanted to respond. I wouldn't have wanted to regulate myself so I was calm. I would have wanted to manage it. So I would have wanted to know I've gone into fight and flight. It is anger that is taken. I can feel the anger and I can feel this
it's not about
injustice.
shutting that down.
It's about knowing now I can see it. What do I need to do with it now?
And seeing that, because actually it would have been really interesting. So if someone had said something and then you got into anger, it would have been really easy to slip into shame. Whereas because you'd noticed it, you're like, that would have given you a better opportunity. Yeah, that's so...
Yeah, and that's the part. So it's like, I didn't need to regulate it. I mean, once I'd realised the danger had passed and there wasn't any danger except in my own head and in my own body, then it's like, actually now, and now I know how to regulate that. Yeah. So now I know how to bring myself back here. But I tell you what, sometimes I need my anger. I know there's stuff going on at the minute, and all of that,
stress, and all of those things.
So this system that I've got is incredible. So the more I understand it, the more I can do something with it. The more I begin to live from a place that I am in control of that, rather than feeling like I'm just out of control and the world is out of control, because I can't control other people. But that's the part for me that helps me to see that I didn't need to respond. I didn't need to hide myself away. I didn't need to make myself small. You know, I didn't spend the rest of the week thinking about what other people thought of me. Actually, what I did was just think, do you know what?
Noticed it.
It's okay.
Let it happen.
And actually, I'm enjoying it. And I don't want to cover up. And I don't. And I always remember one of my clients doing that and really noticing for the first time ever on holiday how, you know, she'd lived within this internal world within her.
Yeah.
where she was afraid and you know, that kind of fight or flight, which is, oh my God, I need to hide, I need to run, or, you know, I'm prepared if anybody says anything to me type of thing.
Yeah, thinking about how you're going to respond if someone is mean to you, but how often does that actually
Yeah, exactly. And that, I think that's the thing for me. This is not having to be calm, because that literally reminds me of having to, Stepford wife. Literally in my
Calm down.
head, that's the whole thing I could see. And there's a big thing going on at the moment. Obviously, I'm very aware the algorithm, because of some of the stuff I've been watching, is showing me more of it. But this whole idea that about what a woman should be, I'm doing these quotes with my fingers. But this whole thing about what a woman should be, and this is why I need a nervous system, because I can feel it now. Like I can feel my back, and I know you've talked before about your back, and you've talked about the hooks and when you can feel. But I can feel that. I can feel the tension across the back of my shoulders as I'm talking about it, and I don't want to hide this. I want to understand and process this anger.
I don't want to calmly listen to somebody telling me I should be in the kitchen and then nod at them and say, "That's your opinion." I want to feel the anger in me and go, "Oh, okay, so that's your opinion, and I'm a genius and a delight. Therefore, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Thank you very much."
A delightful genius. Yeah, so it's knowing that. You know, I want to be able to...
I want that on a T-shirt.
What, delightful genius?
I'm a genius and a delight.
And
I don't know, I want it to have like angel delight on it. I don't even like angel delight, the texture of that makes me want to...
Is it gluten-free? I don't even know. Does it matter? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to have to Google that now.
I needed to share with you just today already. I've had a couple of moments in my head. Because you know when you were talking about changing position, I literally wanted to swing my legs up on the settee and go, change position. Does it change the position? Of what it's like when we do our...
I hope people are watching this on the camera.
Look at green sparkly socks.
All I can see of you right now is your knee and your leg. And I've got this like...
sparkly socks. I am going to sit up now. Oh, I nearly knocked the coffee
grapes.
over. Oh,
be fed grapes like
gorgeous. Anyway,
this is not an attractive position for
me. Do you want to add something? Because I realise I've talked a lot today.
Well, what I realised at the point I was making actually earlier that I completely forgot as I was making it was that as much as we can recognise when the stories are telling us about the triggers and that kind of thing, and that is like something that I think that, you know, like with the emails and that kind of thing, like I've recognised that, but I never considered, and you'd said, why is my nervous system feeling like loved, right? And then I was like, oh my gosh. I struggled before Dave for a very long time to have relationships with men that weren't like, what's that word? Non-platonic. So if I was friendly with men, I really struggled to recognise the difference between them fancying me and not.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd got to this point where, because so many of them had been so mean to me for such a long time, that I was reading any kindness as, I love you. And like, my nervous system had learnt that because the men who were kind to me, like dad and granddad and things, loved me. Therefore, and there were so many of them that had been dicks for so long, that then these men who were just being kind to me, like, my nervous system was going, we're now in love with them. And then I'd be like, have a crush on these people, and then realise that I was lying to myself and that I didn't even fancy them. But that's what happened, and that was a real struggle for me. And it was just that idea that actually this doesn't just go one way. This isn't just that, you know, the stories that we're telling ourselves make us angry or make us triggered or like all that kind of thing. It's actually they can trigger things that our nervous systems are telling us these stories because of the way we've absorbed things in the past.
Yeah.
And that was the plop. That moment for me where I was like,
bing, bing.
Yeah, because it was like a trigger. It was just a different kind of trigger. And how interesting to go, oh. So it just means that there's a space to pause. And I think for me, that's quite powerful because my feelings and my emotions and things run quite quickly.
As do most people.
Yeah.
As do most people. Including mine.
Yeah, and I've never considered that I can slow down that way as well. This happens for me in friendships a lot. So I mask really highly in new friendships. It's something that I'm recognising and it's something that actually in my current new friendships I'm really working on not doing and being honest in things, and it's working out really well, which is really nice. But it means that I get burnt because I mask. So these people are like, we're soulmates, and then when I start being myself, they think I'm disingenuous, but it's not purposeful. So it's just nice for me to go, hang on, are they just being friendly, or are they best friends? So it's like I've never really understood the difference between friendship and best friendship. I've never had friends and best friends. Like, it's always been the same thing for me. And I'm starting to realise, it's just interesting that my nervous system does that way as well. That's the recognition. The recognition. Is that a word?
Realisation.
Thank you. You know when you just
it's recognised it, and it's. I didn't.
I've not spoke to a lot of humans this week.
Have you missed me?
Do you know? We've only seen each other one day in 4 weeks. I know, not only are we mother and daughter, which is wild, but also we work together and we've seen each other one day for 4 weeks.
We have had some contact, but
we have texted
not
and
physically.
But yeah, and it was only that one day where we drove to get the pottery. That was it. Anyway, so yeah, that was just a realisation that I had where I was like, oh my gosh, this can go
lots of different ways.
directions.
And also the understanding for yourself now.
Yeah, no wonder that's what's happened. My little nervous system's going, this is great. And then my brain's going, okay. Or it's such an interesting thing to reach a point with the work that we do where you realise that your brain isn't running the show.
The
to
best.
realise that it's just being pulled along by all of these parts of my body. They're going, come on, this is what we think now. And my brain's going, okay.
Our brains are amazing, right?
Wild.
Our brains are amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
And I read something the other day that I was like, and because of the wording, and because this is how I feel, and this guy had said, your brain is a tool, don't treat it as a friend. It's not your friend. And yet we do. We think it's this mate that's the look on your face. We've got this brain, and it's like this best mate because it's telling us all these things, and we believe all these things that it tells us, and it's like it's not your mate, it's a tool, and that's why we need to learn how to separate from it and understand.
Means it's less hurtful when it's mean to me.
Yeah,
because it's like my best friend bullying me.
Well, it's not. It's just
it's
a tool.
It's just this tool that's like a computer that's got the wrong system. And I now just need to restart it and stop it being triggered. Do you know what I need to do? I need to delete the old printer.
Delete, alt, control.
Yeah, control, alt, delete. And I need to get rid of the programs that come on as it loads up on a morning. You know, like, oh my gosh, this analogy is amazing.
No, it is that. But this is what I've been saying for a long time, because that for me is exactly what it is. It's like, it is the whole inside out thing. It's like this, sorry, microphone. It's like this whole, like, system, and it's that, isn't it? It's about understanding these protective mechanisms that we've created.
So for you, when you look at inside out, joy, anger, and all of those little people aren't your brain. The brain is the board.
No, they're the emotions who now control the brain.
So this is, you're looking at me like, wait, what? As if
No, I'm loving it because I'm loving this reaction that you're getting, like the things. Yeah, the brain's
not the emotions. The emotions are separate from the brain.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm having an absolute epiphany. I was like, I don't know what that
Yeah, so
word
these
is.
little visitors that come in, anxiety, all of these. I love ennui.
I wish I had a buddy on.
Yeah. No, that's embarrassment. There's embarrassment. I was talking about this with a client the other day.
Oh no, ennui is a...
Ennui's like,
we don't get, I'm French. That one. That film.
God love people who are listening to this. And
that anxiety bit at the end. I've never felt more seen in my whole entire life.
It is glorious. Beautiful. It is glorious.
Anyway,
yes, just come back to that.
That was magical.
And that's why I look. Okay, so the House of You. I'm going to mention it because I know that we're dead excited about it. Now I'm home, because that we've talked about restoration, and yet where that came from was about the fact that you are your own home, and this whole thing about like being able to understand yourself better and better, and I just love this stuff. I just love it. And it's that whole seeing these different things that work for us, and the more that I can understand it, the more that I can use this tool that I've got to work for me, not against me, and
recognise when it's having a mare, or it needs to do a reboot, or it needs an upload.
Or am I just on autopilot? And that's exactly what's going on.
Is it just
And that
running
it
along
is
in the background and carrying on with itself?
and that 95% of the day, that's what happens for most of us, is that we just, you know, and we're not even aware of it. And this is why it's not about blame. It's not about any of that.
No.
It's just about understanding that, of course, it does that, because we don't have enough energy to learn how to do things every single day. And we have laid down these patterns of thinking. I adore that science and research is just developing all of the time and changing. And it's just understanding, you know, we run on patterns, and it is like that. It's like a computer. So being able to take a look at it and decide, you know, do I want that?
Which
in fact,
programs do I want to delete?
Before computers, because I
Time
was
to
that
uninstall
old.
self-awareness.
Yeah, I used to talk about it being a filing cabinet.
Yeah, I do love the filing cabinet.
Right, so the filing cabinet
I can see the filing cabinet
was
in my head.
the whole bit about, you know, if you think the bottom drawer is the one that's got all the stuff in, that's like the foundational stuff. It used to be that, so I've got all this stuff in, and what I'm doing now is I'm taking out the stuff that doesn't serve me anymore. It's the same thing with a computer. There's the programs, which are the ones that now need updating, or they're obsolete now because, you know, they don't work. But yes.
Well, so we're going to talk about the House of You at some point.
Yeah.
Because we need to.
But yes,
amazing.
Can I just come back to just repeat what we said a little bit earlier, because I want to come back to what we were saying about the regulation. This is under no circumstances is the goal to be regulated all of the time. Like that's not human. You know,
that's the patriarchy.
Yeah, this is this wonderful system that we've got that I love to describe it like a bit like your central heating system. That, you know, when we're born, it's like we've got this system inside of us, and there's a control, you know, like the thermostat that's on your wall, and you get to program it and decide when does it switch on and off and all of that kind of stuff.
If you're my father.
Yeah. What? On and off? All right, I'll come back to that later. I'm confused now.
As in, we're not allowed to turn the heating on.
Oh no, he turns the heating on.
What, in your actual house?
In our actual, it's not me, it's him.
He must be getting old. What? What?
So I'm just, I know, he doesn't listen.
Yeah, he doesn't listen.
So when we went into the Acropolis, up to the Acropolis in Lindos, which is beautiful, absolutely, Temple of Athena, absolutely glorious. When he got asked, was he 65 and did he need to pay for it? Bearing in mind, God love him, He's 61. And it was just that moment, but I don't know that he's ever been asked that before, but it was such a moment. And she was being so lovely and kind. 65. And his face, I think it just shocked him, but that's a bit about, he just needed a moment. And I was like, no, I don't look that young. We just had a moment, but it was brilliant.
We're so happy.
We literally walked out then and walked into the Acropolis and just looked at each other and burst out laughing.
But anyway,
and I was like, yes, but it is that. And when we're not aware of it, it's like it does what it wants. It turns on when it wants. It switches off when it wants to. That kind of thing.
You get all sweaty in the middle of summer, and then
it's that.
Okay.
It's whereas actually the understanding of it means
you know when it's on.
I'm the one that will alter. Bearing in mind, a really important thing is that
and recognise when it's been turned on.
Yeah,
you can want to just knock it down.
Pre-programmed comes from our own mums and also previous generations.
I feel for my child.
And I felt for you, darling, you know, because the anxiety that I know I felt while I was pregnant, because there was a lot of stuff going on. We know how that gets transferred. So, you know, it's all of that. The beauty is we can do something about it. Yeah. We can start to learn, we can, you know, come off this autopilot and we can really make a difference. And it is not, yes, absolutely, just to come back to your point, we are not looking to be regulated all of the time. That would be scary. I don't want to be calm all the time. Yeah, it's not. And also that would mean that's somebody else's agenda, not mine. Yeah. I want to be human, thanks. I want to get upset at the things that I need to get upset at. I want to know, though,
I want to feel
how and when I need to use these emotions.
Yes.
And, you know, I also want to understand when maybe I'm getting emotional and actually it's something from the past, it's not now.
Yeah.
And there's something I need to deal with. Anyway.
I like that. Yeah. I would like to invite anyone who is like, oh, this is new. If they go onto your Instagram, they can comment reset on any of your posts and they'll get sent the link to do your 5-day challenge, because I've set up an automation for that.
I'm not going to claim that I know what I'm doing with that, so thanks.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. The automation has been set up by me.
You have set up the automation,
but you can also just message either of us, and we'll send you the link to sign up. Because it is genuinely really, really useful. Over 5 days, Mum talks you through what your nervous system is, which is a great place to start. And then just ways to start recognizing so that you can start to build this relationship with it.
Yeah, and can I also say, just as a moment, I've just had a thing in my head. If anybody out there works in schools and realises we need to do this from an earlier age, we need to be teaching children this. I wish somebody had taught me about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, the autonomic nervous system. Like, I needed to understand it. I think we're just not giving the people who need it. I mean, yes, we need it as adults. I mean, imagine a world where we've got kids who can regulate. I understand, because actually, right, very important point. I know this is right at the end.
Yeah.
Self-regulation doesn't happen without co-regulation. We need others. And co-regulation is actually the more important thing. Being around people who help you to feel okay, who, when you are having those moments where you don't feel all right, are the ones who sit with you and, you know, listen and
don't try and change
empathize,
the way you're feeling.
Exactly, show compassion, all of that.
Can handle your emotions.
That's
because they're not taking them
give
on
you
themselves.
Give you the space to be okay to, you know, be angry. I remember that one of my first ever clients, literally, that's what this person brought. And they didn't even realise it. And it was that. And I asked the question about how they felt about anger. That changed everything. You know, and suddenly, you know, they were in a completely different place, having different conversations, because we are taught generally as women, but I think a lot of it is men. I don't think it's all men. Yeah. I think a lot of us are taught we should never be angry. I mean, another podcast, we're going to talk about that. But I think that's really important. Co-regulation is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should do a podcast on that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
thank
you for listening.
Yeah.
We shall see you next time.
Goodbye.
Arrivederci.